name is George Gishoro.
And my name is Beatrice Nudi, and it's time for us to start with the Standard.
Yep.
And of course, it's not the top story, but allow me to make it the top story, because new social health insurance saves patients more pain. We just, I don't know how many of you have gotten the message, but I have gotten the message. I don't know about
it. I think it was sent.
Yeah.
The bulk message.
Yeah, to all these people have your contact.
Yeah,
so
they do.
They have.
Yeah. I don't know who told them I want to subscribe.
Yeah. They're just telling you it has successfully migrated from NHIF to SHIF. Yeah. So it's almost like
they had told us we were to register.
Or else.
Yeah, so I think they saw or else Kenyans are not buying the fear. Yeah, wakasema wacha watu tuwote tuwapeleke.
Let's just automate it. But you know what bothers me is the fact that this is not something that is voluntary. Hii ni kitu yenye ni lazima because they've already, cut it even from the salaries. That's what they're planning to do, and all that, the 2.75%. So why is it that people now have to register as if it's something that they have to do?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just automate it from the
onset?
As opposed to, because so many people have stressed themselves trying to do this, and yet they could just automate it.
Yeah.
So it really makes no sense. But anyway, pages 8 and 9 is where this story is being covered, and just perusing through that, I see here that private hospitals are unsure about reimbursements and are demanding cash payments. Many renal patients who could not raise cash did not access treatment. And, they had mentioned that in the SHIF, there's a particular amount that is to be given to those who are under renal care. That is the dialysis and having to go through that. So, they were asked to pay 9,500 shillings per session, and yet there was an amount that was supposed to be given to them. So you can imagine how difficult that can be, especially for those who have to do it regularly. They knew that there's a cut that was to be given, but then now, at this time, they had to pay from their pockets. It definitely caused them more pain. Even what they were calling teething problems are not teething, really. It's just poor planning, I would say, and not really planning ahead. Because again, this happened, it shouldn't have happened the way it did. The transition ought to have been smooth. I see some people here saying I had to borrow money for transport after failing to be served in 2 hospitals. My daughter asked if she was going to die. Can you imagine? This is really, really sad. I encouraged her, but my heart is shattered, she added. And this is someone who needed a dialysis session that was very crucial for her daughter's well-being. And now being denied of these services definitely left her very, very much emotionally devastated. So this was really, really, really hard. A parent at Kisumu's Doctors Plaza said the facility informed him that they were not accepting NHIF or SHIF. My daughter was not treated because the facility does not accept NHIF or even SHIF, said Moses Ouko. So there's definitely a lot in the health sector that we need to pray about.
And actually, it's the headline, the headline story on the Daily Nation.
Yes.
SHIF nightmare, SHIF nightmare, they say. Doctors cannot treat patients before getting clearance from Social Health Authority. And I see there Anne Cheptonui weeps outside the Margaret Kenyatta Mother and Baby Wing at the Nakuru County Referral and Teaching Hospital yesterday after her 18-year-old daughter, who had given birth to a healthy baby at the facility under the Linda Mama program, was detained over a 7,500 shillings bill. Sick system, they say. Across the country, patients are enduring a medical crisis of unspeakable horror. Their up-to-date NHIF cards have been disabled, while the new healthcare plan, the SHIF, is yet to take off due to rollout glitches. The transition, meant to safeguard Kenyans' health and ease their suffering, has instead left them stranded and in pain. And it's a story that you can read on page 9. And I love what they have said, that in a system that is meant to safeguard public health, it is the poor and the vulnerable who suffer the most. Those unable to pay are left in limbo, unable to live, unable to afford treatment, and with no clear path forward. And the unfortunate thing is that Kenyans are just but alone, because the people who are supposed to be advocating for their rights, the people who are supposed to be protecting them, elsewhere discussing other things, because this was such a huge rollout. And I would have expected, maybe I need to lower my expectations, I would have expected that the country's leadership from the top to the bottom should have been in those hospitals, not anywhere else. You know, if you are a member of parliament, go back to your constituency, you know, visit all the hospitals, you know, and just see how the rollout of SHIF is going on in your constituency. As the head of state as well, this sort of is like your baby, you know, again, at the national level and even at the grassroots. Make random visits, you know. The reason why I'm saying this, they may not do much, but at least they will empathize. They will see what is happening on the ground. Don't just wait for the reports in your office, because they will, with colorful messaging and all. Go to the ground, visit and see how the rollout is being implemented. All the health ministry officials, tokeni Nairobi, endeni mashinani nyinyi nyote. All the leaders, county leadership and all, go to those hospitals, see how the rollout is, and then come back. And now, what you saw, not what you were told, what you saw, now evaluate the rollout.
It's true.
But now,
that is what should actually have happened. But even I'm even more concerned. Why did they have to shut off NHIF?
Yet hii ni pesa yetu bado. This is still my card.
Was still,
this is still my card, NHIF card. They will still use my details.
You've been paid
how did they migrate me to SHA from to SHIF from NHIF? It's because they already have my details. Meaning whatever details they're using on NHIF will be the same details on SHIF. So let's utilize the NHIF card, because it will pay until everything now we have seamlessly transitioned to SHIF. But that's not the case, unfortunately. And Parliament, they have suspended their normal program to focus on one man. Between now and next week, they're discussing nothing else but just impeachment. When people are struggling, when we are having a medical nightmare across the country, it's unfortunate.
We have misplaced priorities clearly as a government and as a nation. And it's really, really sad.
It's sad. And when it comes to health matters, it's not a laughing matter. It's not.
We probably have lost so many lives just in the middle of...
Because they cannot be admitted and they don't have money, yet they pay for their NHIF.
Imagine. So there's money that is actually there present.
There's money.
Unajua hii ni kama insurance.
Yes.
Pesa iko.
I can't use my NHIF card, but instead use SHIF. It beats anyway.
Because now the money that people have been paying, where is it going if at all it cannot serve people now, even as we wait for the SHIF rollout?
And the end of the month, people again will contribute now to SHIF. So it's not like we don't have money.
Hata nilikuwa najiuliza, pesa inaweza kuwa iliingia tu kwa mfuko ya mtu.
You never know. We have seen stories of typing errors, 300 million got lost.
Typing errors.
It's unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate. May the Lord help us. And still on the top page, Ruto's loud silence. President Ruto, who quietly jetted back from the US on Monday, steered clear of his deputy Rigathi Gachagwa's tribulations, even as Parliament began the process of removing him from office, perhaps signaling that the head of state is supportive of the historic move. And as the DP turns his attention to the Senate, where the trial proper will be conducted, it will be an uphill task winning over at least a third of the 67 senators needed to scuttle the motion. So that is what is happening on the same pages. 4, 5, 6, and 7 has covered that. And still on the top page, why state could lose 7 billion shilling in Hustler Fund. We did cover yesterday that the plan is to now invade M-Pesa and also airtime for those who still have unpaid loans. But we have a new development here saying members of the National Assembly's Special Funds Committee winding up the fund. I see they want fund CEO to provide details of beneficiaries to help the committee establish whether the funds were really given out or not. So a lot of questions. I see we have over 13 million purported hustlers borrowed the money but have not attempted to make any repayment. So it's almost like this seems like isi kitu ya kawaida. Ni watu waliamua wacha nichukue sini pesa yangu.
Yeah.
And they're like, I will not pay. What would they do to me? So this is literally just on another level. I see the committee also had that analysis by the fund management revealed that 98% of the defaulters were still active on a monthly basis. And the Hustler Fund CEO hopes that the money could be recovered. We just wait and see. It's definitely a hard nut to crack for sure. But coming down to more on the same, I see page 3, despair rules in Lebanon as Kenyan workers cry out for help. Kenyan government has given those seeking evacuation up to October 12th to register online. The country does not have an embassy in Lebanon. And Diana Nyaichero, who is a Kenyan in Lebanon here, saying, people are in fear. I would like to be back home. The condition is worsening. I can't sleep. We ask the Kenyan government to find us a way back home. We definitely have a lot of trouble everywhere, and especially those who are in other countries. You know, most people assume that if I'm out of Kenya, I am going to greener pastures. But this has to be led with a lot of wisdom, because there are some areas that people have just wished they would never have even taken those trips. But now the unfortunate thing is, what can people do? What can the youth do? Since we don't have jobs, and sometimes people just feel there's really no hope in the country. But we pray that all will be well. And I see page 4 is just explaining why the Senate will have the final word on Gashagua's fate after all. So MP's move is just start of the process according to the law. The ultimate decision on the DP's ouster bid rests on the 67 senators. So we wait and see how that pans out. And page 8, of course, dialysis patients bear brunt of chaotic transition to new healthcare scheme. Those are the ones that have suffered the most during this transition. And page 9, acute teacher shortage shadows seamless grade 9 transition. 40,000 interns being hired on permanent terms do little to change the situation. And the government indicated plans to hire 20,000 more intern teachers to support the JSS system. And today on the Standard Business, job prospects for Gen Z dim as Kenyan economy slows in Q2. I see new data shows the real GDP expanded by 4.6% in the second quarter of this year, with key sectors contracting. This is compared to a growth of 5.6% in the corresponding quarter of 2023. And coming down to the pullout today, that is the real estate. NHC agonizes over rent review amid depressed housing market. And I see also here SACCO lending to housing sector drops to 124 billion. And on the international news, Israel vows to make Iran pay for missile attack as crisis continues to escalate. Let's keep praying even for those in Israel and even what is happening in the other countries. And coming down to the sports, I see Ten Hag demands Man United response in Europa League. Manchester United boss is under pressure to win against Porto today. Red Devils will be attempting to recover from the demoralizing defeat against Tottenham Hotspurs. I hope I've gotten that correct.
Yep.
Yes, we did say it's a disappointment. Was it 3-0? Yani tatu bila. Aina shida, ni mipira ya wazungu.
Ndio hivyo.
Page 39, Havertz and Saka star as Arsenal sink PSG. Arsenal win against PSG was 2-0, and we have 21 being Kai Havertz tally of combined goals and assists in all competitions. Lastly, King Yego, I'm out to reclaim my world title. Yego held 87.72 meter to beat the 85.50 meter javelin world championship qualifying mark at Paris. Olympics. That's it for the Standard.
Right, quickly, let's go through the Daily Nation. And inside MP's plot to scuttle Gachagua defense, the National Assembly is working to see loopholes that could be exploited to challenge the impeachment proceedings against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in anticipation of a bitter legal battle should MPs approve the motion to remove him from office. It's a story that you can read on page 7. And there is also outrage over 7-year term for President MPs. And now a proposal to extend the term of the president and other elected leaders from 5 to 7 years has been met with outrage, with some describing the plan as impractical and dead on arrival. Constitutional and governance experts and members of parliament have also termed the proposal by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei as a diversionary tactic. You can read that on page 4 and 5. And we have said these things here. Gachagua impeachment, term extension is only diversionary from the real stories
of our concerns at such a time as this.
Talking of impeachment, in Kericho, MCAs have voted to send Mutai packing. That is the governor. So Kericho Governor Eric Mutai was yesterday impeached despite a court order stopping debate on the motion. It's a story on page 6.
It looks like wanathreatiana tutakuimpeach wewe.
Ndio hivyo.
Looks like it's literally now what is happening when they saw that was it Kawera Mwangaza wakaona sasa hapa
tunaweza
kumbe tunaweza fanya hii maneno.
Also, there is a spread here on the Nation, and I believe also on the Standard, inside the Standard. It's about the special motion for removal of Gachagua and the different constituencies and where public participation will be taking place. And so you need to do that so that also you can give your opinion on whether Gachagua should go or not. So you can do that. KEMSA chairman pushes for a central UHC kitty. KEMSA is looking for grants to support counties, particularly those that settle debts as well. Let's go to the county news. I cannot understand English. Suspect in 296 million shillings case says, appearing in an Eldoret court, former education officer Kodomuk preferred to use Kiswahili. Now, this is a former chief education officer who is implicated in a 296 million bursary heist in West Pokot County, shocked a court in Eldoret when he said that he could not understand English. And yet he was the chief education officer in the region. But Kisungu.
Rusungu. Mdomo chake.
I also see Nakuru Assembly suspended following disorder. Kuna nini kwani? Key legislative duties have been halted at the Nakuru County Assembly after sessions were suspended last week following chaotic incidents that allegedly involved members of UDA party. All right, okay. There is a paper here. It's from the National Assembly, actually. And public views template. So this is in the matter of Gachagua. So actually you can feel it.
We can feel it.
So personal information. So you're supposed to put in your full name, gender, constituency, and county. Your ID or passport number, driving license number. And then the question, views on the proposed impeachment. What are your views on the motion? Tick appropriate. 1, I support. I do not support, other, specify. Then, of course, there are the charges against Gachagua. And then after, once you do that, you sign, put the date, and then you can drop it in Parliament. Ni pesa yani tunatumia tu hivi anyway.
Nakwambia hata acha hivyo ile majibu watatamani hata
hawangeuliza because wataambiwa tuanze na nyinyi. Mimi yangu ndio naandika tuanze na nyinyi. Anyway, let's move on. DN2 pull out the property tricks that fraudsters use. While the rise of online platforms has made property searches and transactions more convenient, it has also opened up new opportunities for scammers to exploit both buyers and sellers.
But pull up Gigi. Kuna kitu inanisumbua.
Nini hiyo?
Like this is the very first time I'm seeing people agitating so much for public participation. Hiyo kitu inanisumbua. Yani mpaka ikuwa gazeti.
Imagine, yani Imagine.
Si ingekuwa ni finance bill. Tunaulizwa hivi.
And they make it easy. You see, this one, they have made it as easy as possible.
Because it's about impeaching someone.
Exactly. No, it's serving their interests.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an agenda they are pushing.
No wonder.
Yeah, so ingekuwa ni hivi, ama mambo ya funding model.
Things that actually matter.
Hivi, ingekuwa rahisi.
Yeah.
Lakini yetu no, now wametuonyesha it's possible.
Oh. Anyway, continue.
Parcel of broke counties with 42 billion in accounts. Minister urges governors to sort out issues with the controller of budget. Now, counties have more than 42 billion, which is lying idle in their accounts. Wow. Despite some being cash trapped. That's according to National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi. The minister told senators that the county revenue fund account has up to 42 billion yet to be taken up by the devolved governments. And last week, the National Treasury released 31.8 billion to counties as shareable revenue for July 2024. Right. Let's go to the sports pages. Onana is human. We don't fear him, says Matasi. Experienced Kenya goalkeeper says they are focused on winning and not on players. Kenya will be facing Cameroon in back-to-back 2025 Africa Cup of Nations Group J qualifying matches. The first encounter will be on October 11th at the 50,000 capacity Japoma Stadium in Douala, with the return fixture at the Mandela National Stadium in Kampala 3 days later. All right, you can read that on page 39. Page 38, wiser sounding Omanyala looks ahead with intent and China to host opening 2 events of 2025 Diamond League final in Zurich. Come to Safari Sevens at Machakos. Governor Ndeti urges fans. A memorable tournament, she's promising a memorable tournament on October 11th to 13th at the Kenyatta Stadium. And Onyango worried as Kenya fall to Kuwait, hosts suffer second loss in World Cup qualifiers. Kenya coach blames defeat on lack of concentration by his charges at Ruaraka. And quickly, Business Daily, Safaricom eyes deals with Starlink rivals in data fight, telco-marling partnerships to expand reach in remote areas. Ndegwa says they are not in talks with Musk's farm, and a 200 billion pending bill claims are rejected, and Kenya taps 36 billion China loan for roads, and the Treasury calls for rates cut as inflation falls to 12-year low. That is being reported in the Business Daily. Let's continue to pray for our nation as well.
Absolutely. And we have come to the end of our newspaper review, but be sure to tune in to Hope FM at the top of every hour. We have some amazing news updates for you right here on Hope TV at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. You can catch up with us with the news as well. So let us now have a look at the video of the day.